Hi everybody, welcome back. So today we'll be working on the bakery frame. As always, your box frame is going to be an 8x8, 20x20 centimetres. This is a difficult rating 5 out of 5. It's only because of the counter that we're going to build. I've tried to simplify my original design that I designed last year, and I know a lot of you, with the feedback, we're struggling to put on the actual perspex on the front and getting all your counter straight. So I have adjusted a few little bits and pieces, but I would still say it's a difficult rating of 5 out of 5, shall we say. So obviously, if you are new to frame building, I certainly wouldn't start this as your first build. So as always, pop everything out. I've already opened mine. Grab your back piece and let's get started. So the first two prints you're going to need to find, this one with the shelving on. You will also find, I've just scored mine, as always I'm building this as we go. I lost some of the design, so I had to sort of like redesign some bits. You will get an A4 white piece of card as well. Taking your A4 cardstock, you need to line it up to the bottom. That is the most important thing. Don't line it to the top. Make sure you line it to the bottom because there will be a slight gap. You will get quite a lot of excess over, so just roughly trim it like I have. And I've just scored it with my finger. I've just gone all over the back with my PVA glue and just attached this down here. So I'm just going to let that dry a second. Once that's more or less dry, just flip it over and then cut off any more of your excess. So I'm just going to do that now. So all the white piece is now on and everything is trimmed. So now you need to grab the inner part of your frame. You're going to place this on the top. And then you're just going to mark with a pencil just along the inner rim here. This is going to give you a guide of where your next piece is going to sit. So just make sure that you place your frame flat, just to make sure everything is in line. I've done mine with pen, just so you can see it a little bit better. And then what you're going to do, like I say, is just, you don't have to go all the way around it, it's just this top piece here. This is going to make your counter sit square with your frame. So this is going to give you a really nice guide to keep that bottom piece, which is the hardest bit, straight. So then what you'll find is you'll have a gap either side like this on your little pencil mark of where the actual inner part is going to go down here. So taking this print, what you're going to do, you're going to align this with this pink piece here on your line. Work all the way along and then that'll line up perfectly to this edge here. You will have some excess to cut off as well. So I'm just going to use my PVA glue, align that just as I've showed you. Place it on here or on the back piece, whatever you find easiest. If you are placing it on here, just a little tip, once you've lined it up, just get a little pen, just fold that over slightly, and just give yourself a little mark underneath. That'll just give you a guide of how much glue you're going to put on and how far down you're going to go, because obviously you don't want all your glue spilling out there. So whatever you find easiest. So I'm just going to attach that on there. I have now inlined this to the top, as you can see, following the pink line as we discussed. And then obviously your top piece now should sit. Your print should now be perfectly in line with your frame. So you will now need to flip this over and trim off your excess. So you should now have something that looks like this. So now is the time to decide what colour you are wanting your inner part and out part of your frame if you are painting it. I have already chosen my colour. So I've gone for a pale pink. Now I didn't paint this with acrylic paint, I used some spray paint. Let me just show you which one I used. This is fabulous. You can spray anything with this. I've sprayed furniture with it, all sorts. So it's the Gold NC acrylic. and it's in frozen strawberry. It's only had one coat, and it covers really well and dries within about 20 minutes. So once you have chosen your colour and everything is dry, you will now need to pop everything back into place. Now, just bearing in mind, obviously, if your frame is slightly out, especially this square, just keep turning it from the top piece that you marked out. Otherwise, when you pop it in, your frame might sort of like slide down a little bit. So just make sure that you've got the right end before you click everything into place. As always, if your frame is slightly out, you can run your tacky glue along all edges and then align that there. So I'm just going to click everything into place. So everything is now in place. You're on my little stand just so you can see what I'm doing. You will also find 6 large lollipop sticks. So here comes the difficult part. So I did go ahead and spray painted these exactly the same colour. So again, you might want to go ahead now and paint all your sticks, 6 in total. We're going to do 2 sticks at a time. What you're going to do is just lay these over the top. Place this along this white part here. This is going to give you the length of what your counter needs to be. And then this bakery sign is in the middle. So what you're going to do is just do a little mark with a pen in the middle of this bakery sign here. And then what you're going to do is trim this piece off. So I've got my guide here. I'm just going to trim that with some scissors. So once you've cut your first stick, take your second lollipop stick, push it up to your frame, keep hold of this side. Yours will be better flat, by the way, on the table. That's why mine keeps wobbling over. And then what you're going to do, you just pinch it, just see. You're just going to mark it underneath where this shelf ends. So I'm just going to make a line underneath here. And then trim this piece off. So let me just move you back in. We now have 2 sticks. Once we glue these together, which we're going to do shortly, this is now going to give you the full length of your print. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use these as a guide. We're going to have one at the top. We're going to have another one halfway down, and then another one at the bottom. So these are now your guides. One will obviously be longer than the other because obviously it's the way it's been overlapped. You're going to take the rest of your lollipop sticks, line these up, trim that off. Just make sure that you keep these, because like I say, they're not equal, as you can see. So what you'll need to do is just make sure when you trim these off for your next pieces, that you keep them in piles. So you want 3 of this length and 3 of this length. So what I'm going to do is just take my stick, align it to the bottom. I'll show you this one. Like this. Pinch both sticks together really hard with my thumb and finger. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and trim that. So you should now have 3 this size and 3 on the larger size. I've just moved the camera across so you can just see this bit. So now you're going to need your glue gun, and you need to find 3 of your little lollipop sticks. So I've just placed mine in piles, as we mentioned earlier. So now we're going to join our 2 sticks together. So to do that, what you're going to do is grab 1 off each pile. We're going to flip these over, put the join together, and then using our glue gun, we're just going to run it along this stick here. And then we're going to place that on the top, squeezing up our sticks. So let me just show you the first one. I'm just going to run my glue just along here. It doesn't have to be neat. Then once your glue is in place, place this over the top of your join. slide it up while your glue is still wet, and attach that down. That way, this was going to stop all your glue coming out of your joins. Just need to trim that little bit off with my scissors. Just pick it off a second. Like this. So what that has done is it's joined our sticks together. And then it's also strengthened up this part as well. Don't worry about your joins. This is going to get covered later on. And this lip as well. By the time we've added our ribbon, you will not see any of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do exactly the same with my other bits. Lining it up, placing this on the stick, and then just pushing that underneath while my glue is still wet. And attach all these down. So I'm just going to do that and then I'll be back. So all my sticks are now prepped, which is going to be the shelving, which we are going to add next. Taking your first stick, you're just going to run some tacky glue along this edge. I can't do mine, obviously it needs to be on a flat surface, otherwise it's just going to keep flopping. But I'm just going to show you while it's upright like this. So the first one is going to sit along the top part of this white border. And then your next one, you know, you can put them wherever you like. If your join is not in line with this one, it means you've got your sticks the wrong way around. Let me just show you. Let me just flip that. Can you see that join has gone out? So just make sure that your sticks are the right way. So I'm going to go, you know, I don't know, an inch or so down and glue that one there. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with my other stick further down. So we've then got 3 shelves. So I'm going to attach these with tacky glue. Just let that adhere a little bit. Like I say, they might sort of like start flopping about until we get this middle piece in. So just try your best. You know, just keep checking on it. You might want to get a hairdryer on it just to make it a little bit more tacky. And then just pop it on a flat surface while you glue it together. So I'm just jumping in as always. I've just placed, you can still see my tacky glue is still wet, just along that lip. Obviously we're putting a stick in this middle part here and the ribbon over the top. So what I've done just to help it, I've just created a little bracket underneath with my glue gun. So I've just aimed for the middle, just squirted a little bit of glue underneath. That's just going to help it, you know, keep flopping down. You'll find like when you sort of like stick these on, your stick might just keep doing this. Even if you put the bracket on and it does the same, just get a little straw or something like that just to pop it up while it's drying, and then you can move on to the next shelf. But that bracket seems to be holding it a lot better, and my frame is on obviously upright as well. So I'm going to do the same with that all the way down. So like I said, I'm going to run my tacky glue along here, and then once it's in place, I'm just going to put a blob of glue just underneath, just to sort of like help it sit and dry a little bit better. So I've done the same process all the way down. This was the tacky glue I used from Art Studio. It does take a while to dry this stuff. You can obviously get the more expensive stuff. I just use my little cocktail stick and then obviously just tap the back, or you can use a little brush. And then I've just gone ahead and just used those glue blobs just underneath, which is really helping the shelving, you know, not flop. So I've just covered that. Also, these are the size sticks that you're going to be using. So before you put your glue on, this stick is going to go in the middle once we get the all our bits and pieces inside. So you can just use your larger lollipop stick as a guide. You know, if you've got any sort of like little overspills in this middle part, and obviously the join, it does all get covered, as you can see. So now we've done all that, let's go on to the next piece. So I'm just going to keep my stick here because now I'm going to start placing some bits and pieces inside this counter. This is obviously going to give me a guide of how far along this join is going to go. So if you don't use this as a guide, you might go further out and then obviously lose some of your charms. So I'm going to keep that there. I'm going to flip you down and show you the little stickers, well, the little cardstocks that you're going to get in this kit. So these are all the cardstock prints and the charms. The bubble domes will vary in colour, everything else will be as is. The donuts and the eclairs I did make out of clay, so they won't be included, but your little cardstock will be. And then we've also got 2 macaron boxes, and the 3 Mr. Kipling cakes. So we will be building these later on. These haven't got backs on them, so it just makes it a lot easier. We've done them before, especially on the Barbie frame. And another one, I can't remember off the top of my head. So we're going to build these later on just with sellotape. So get all your charms out, and then obviously we're going to go back onto the shelving, and then I'm going to have a play about where I want these. You are best using your tacky glue to attach these rather than your glue gun, just in case, as we always say, you know, we need to slide that sign about. So I would put your charms in first and then obviously add your little signs afterwards, or you can use some double-sided sticky tape. So keeping your stick in place, just to give you a guide, you don't have to glue that on at all, just rest it on. I found some of my plates from the plate set that I sell. I have some more of these on order. These won't be included in your kit. And I just want to show you, just before I start gluing my bits and pieces in, we are going to put a front on this, so nothing has to come over this lip. So when you go through your little plate set, just make sure that, you know, your plates don't, let me just show you, like this one is slightly over, which means that the perspex that we're going to put on the front is going to hit this and not sit straight. So that plate is no good. This one will be all right because that's going to sit behind this lip. So let me just place a few on and I'll show you. Don't know where I'm going to put these yet. I don't know whether I'm going to use them all. So just make sure that it sits within line of your stick before you glue these down. I'm now going to have a play about with my plates, just keeping this as a guide, just so I don't go over. Like we said, you don't want to lose any of your charms behind your stick. I'm going to have a, like I say, a play about. I'm going to glue some bits and pieces in, glue some of my little prints on as well, and then I'll be back. So I've just been working on these little bits. I've glued these onto a little tray. I use my glue gun for the front of this sign. My tacky glue was taking too long to dry. Obviously you're not going to see the glue at the back. And then I've glued my donuts into a little tray, just added my little sign onto a little cocktail stick and poked that in there. So you just have to bear in mind as well, this is the ribbon we're going to be trimming along this top piece. So just make sure, obviously, you know, you don't want your signs too high, otherwise this ribbon, if you are going to place it where I'm going to put mine, is going to cover your signs. So just keep referring back to that. Let me just grab my stick again. I sort of know roughly where I'm going to go now. Just to make sure that that sort of, like I say, doesn't cover up any of your signs. You might want to go further down with yours. It's completely up to you. All my charms are now in place. I did use my glue gun to attach all these onto my shelving. I didn't bother with my tacky glue, otherwise I'm going to be waiting ages. So my little cardstock prints, I use my glue gun again, just at the back of those, and just attach those to the front part of the counter. Like I say, just make sure all your charms are sat behind that lip, otherwise your perspex front will not fit. So this is where I've put mine. Again, you can move your cardstock wherever you like, but I do like that placement. I haven't put anything at the bottom. You might want to add a few more bits and pieces in here, especially if you're making some. I'm just going to leave mine as it is. So now what we've got to do is wait for everything to dry before we commit and put the front on. So what I've done now, you are at a strange angle. It's the only angle I can get you at with this stand. Is just pop all your frame out, just so you've got the inner part. So I've just popped this, let me just move this piece off. Move that to the side. You're now going to need to get yourself some double-sided sticky tape. Now you can buy these in the range. It's really thin. Let me just measure it. So this measures 1/2 centimetre. This is the perfect width to go along this piece here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to run our double-sided tape right the way along this edge. Let me just show you. So we're going to stick this on here. Trim that piece off. We are then going to run it from this join here all the way along. And trim that corner. And then your last strip, obviously don't overlap this because you've got the top to peel off. Just align it, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to run it up to this top piece and stop just below our counter. And then just trim that off. It's a little bit long. Let me just trim that. I'm at such a strange angle. There we go. So your double-sided tape has now gone all the way around. So before we peel that off, you will find an A4 laminated sheet. So these will already be laminated. I've just put these through my machine rather than using the thick perspex. That way we can sort of trim this to size. So we haven't put any along the top. Our ribbon's going to go along here. So it's just this backwards C. So just taking your A4 sheet, what you're going to do is just lay this over the top. And then I'm just going to roughly trim. Just give yourself a few mil. You know, even half an inch, shall we say. Just along this edge and here, just get rid of this excess piece. So let me just trim that now. So I've just given myself a little bit of a lip. It's just going to be easier for you just to sort of, you know, rather than having a massive floppy piece. Obviously keep this strip. It'll come in handy for other bits and pieces that you might want to create. So what we're going to do now is we're going to peel all this off. You're going to align this to the top. You can either do it from this end or go in the middle if you don't trust yourself, and adhere everything down, and then obviously trim off the excess. So let me just peel all my little tape off first. So I've just peeled everything off. I'm going to take my straight edge, which I measured from the top, because obviously this is the rough cut. I'm going to place this on the top of my sticky tape. Align that just so it sits on here and stretch it over and run my finger all the way around. Let me lift you up so you can see. Like this. So don't worry if there's any sort of little ridges at the top. Like say once we get the ribbon onto this, everything will sit flat. So once everything is in place, what you'll need to do now is just grab your scissors and just trim off all the excess of your plastic. So I'm just going to carry on doing that. I can't do it at this angle, and then I'll be back. So now your counter should have a perspex front on it. How much easier was that? Obviously, let me just show you the top. Can you see it flops over like this? Do not worry about that. Like I say, once we get the ribbon glued on, you will not see that gap at the top. So please don't worry if you feel like you have to, you know, push this inside. As long as you have stretched this over, so once you've placed it on, you know, just pull your laminated sheet just over the top. Just make it a little bit tighter. So once you've got your front on, we are now going to pop this back onto our frame. So our main frame is now back on, and we also have our perspex front. It'll probably look a little bit ripply and shiny. It's just a reflection of the camera. So now what you need to do is grab your larger lollipop stick. Obviously I sprayed this earlier on. You're going to align this at the bottom here, and then just make a mark where it ends, just underneath this lip here. Obviously our ribbon's going to run over the top, so it doesn't matter if you don't cut it, you know, perfectly square at the top. I've just trimmed my stick to size, so that sort of sits just on the lip here. Just trim the bottom off. And again, what we're going to do now is use our double-sided tape, put a strip at the back of this, peel that off. I can't do it, I need to be on a flat surface as always. And we're going to align that, oops, in the centre. So what your double-sided tape has done is just sat on this actual perspex itself. Obviously we're going to attach our ribbon to the top in a second. So you might see, let me just flop this down. there's still a gap because obviously it's not glued onto our shelving. So you can just add a tiny little bit of your glue gun just underneath your stick and then just push that onto your shelf. If you don't trust yourself with your glue gun, obviously then you can use your tacky glue. This is the trim we're going to be putting on next. So if you do have a bit of an overspill with your glue, you can obviously cover that with your ribbon. So I'm just going to add a little bit of my glue gun just on that stick and then just push that into place. So I've just attached my glue at the top, as you can see, and just push that down. I have noticed that this is a little bit floppy at the bottom. So there's a couple of options. I don't want to run my, again, yours might not sit like this. Obviously my frame is completely out. I don't want to have obviously all my glue gun at the bottom as an overspill. However, there is a print, so I feel like it just needs something down here. If you've gone all the way along with all your other bits and pieces at the bottom of your shelving, it might not look as plain as mine. So I do like this sign at the bottom here. So because I'm going to cover that there, I'm just going to run my glue gun. I'm just going to push that stick and just run my glue just along this bottom piece here. Let me just hold that. That has just helped my stick just keep obviously in place. Like I say, yours might not be like this. You can obviously just run your tacky glue just along that bottom piece and just push it in. Maybe use a hairdryer. That way you're not going to get any overspill. But because I know I'm going to cover up this piece here with my little sign, I've attached my glue to that. So I'm going to place this just above here, just so it doesn't cover my signs. Again, I can run my glue gun just along the middle part here. Then I'm just going to align that just over my stick, just to cover that piece. You might look a little lopsided. You are on my slanted part of my table. So this is now glued into place. So the next piece you're going to grab is your checkered ribbon. This is now going to go along the top piece here. Just adjusted you slightly so you can see this piece. So obviously your ribbon is going to be a lot longer than your frame, because I am going to add a couple of little love hearts just on this piece here, just to sort of like tie everything together. So taking your long strip, what you're going to do is just place this along your frame, adjust it so you can get the middle part of your little love heart. I'll try and grab this the best I can here. I'm then going to use my glue gun just at the back of this little love heart and just align that just so I've got a little bit of an overlap at the top, and attach that there. So my ribbon, I've obviously found my little love heart in the middle. So I'm not going to run my glue gun all the way along here, because obviously we don't want any overspill. This is just to obviously cover this perspex. So I'm going to take the second one, put some glue on there, align that to my shelf. Again, I can't do this until I'm on a flat surface like this, and then again taking the third or second one, it's completely up to you, and just align that there. I'm going to do the same on the other side, just blowing my glue gun just on the back of my little love hearts, and carry on right the way along the top. Once your ribbon is in place, you will just need to trim off the excess. I've decided on one little love heart in the middle. Two looked a little bit too much. So everything is now glued in. So now what I'm going to do is concentrate on this top piece here. So next you will need to paint your shelving. Obviously I've spray painted this all the same. And we're going to add 2 shelves on this part, and then the same on the other one. Obviously there's a frame to go over the top of this as well. So what you will need to do is just lay your thin lollipop stick flat. We're going to mark it from where this join ends here, oops, you've gone out of focus, here, right the way along to this piece here, and do exactly the same on this shelf, and then repeat the process on the other one. So as always, there's no point me showing you this, you know how it goes. Trim off your end, lay this flat, measure your stick from this rim to here, this one to here, and do exactly the same on the other side. Once all 4 sticks are cut to size, just run your tacky glue just along the back, and then obviously use your guide of the shelving which comes on the print that you saw previously, and then just align those together and wait for that to dry. Next you will need to find 2 of these prints. Just pop some tacky glue just in each corner of your shelves. Mine are obviously still wet, but I want to show you this piece so I can glue mine on and let everything dry together. You are then going to align this print with the back print. This is going to give a 3D effect for your shelf. And then you're going to do exactly the same. Let's just move you back. So we want one here and one over here. So that'll just give you a 3D effect on your shelf. My frames are now in place, so whilst that is drying, we're going to go back onto the table and build some little boxes. So these are the boxes we need to build. You'll get 2 of the pink, 1 of the purple, and 2 of the macron. Oh, that's upside down. This print, excuse my nails, I'm covered in spray paint, matches all the little print at the back as always. So what you'll need to do is just fold along these edges. You can obviously use a ruler if you want to. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. It's completely up to you, whatever you find easiest. I'm just going to bend these quick. I'm going to show you one box because they all work the same. There's no back print on this that we mentioned earlier. It just makes it easier for you to build, because obviously these are going to be glued onto the back of our shelving. So now we're going to get some sellotape. We're going to just run it along this edge here just to join this together. So let me just grab some. Going to align your sellotape just on this line. I'm trying to do it through the camera here. And fold that around up to the top. And then just make sure all your joins are together with your tape. You're then going to trim off all your excess. If you've gone over like me, just trim that off as well. Once you've trimmed that excess off, just fold this back if you've got any more sellotape, and then you're going to repeat the same process on the other side, just running your tape just along these joints here until you've gone all the way around, and then you can pop a little strip of sellotape, do that, over the top just to make your box shiny. Like I always say, sellotape is really forgiving, so it doesn't even have to be perfectly straight. I'm then going to trim off all this excess and then just fold that around. So you should now have a box, very shiny and covered in your tape. So you will need to do the same with this one. And then again, these work on the same principle, so you will just need to fold just where I put the borders. Fold it along, use your sellotape, and then go over the top with your sellotape. So I'm just going to build all these little boxes, and then I'll be back. So I've built my boxes, and I've just used my glue gun just on the bottom of these and attached these into my shelving. I've also added a little mini cupcake and a little layer cake, so these will be included in your kit as well. I use my macron box sign, attach these in the middle. So next I'm going to get this print. This is going to sit over the top. So you might want to do this elsewhere. I just want to make this sign 3D. So just taking a random straw, what I'm going to do is just place this on the back with my glue gun. Just trim it off there. Again, place my glue gun over the top. And then I'm going to align that over this sign here. So I've just placed this on the top, just made it a little bit more 3D. So next I'm going to place the bakery sign in the middle of my frame, just using my glue gun along here. Again, you can use your tacky glue. I'm just going to sort of like overlap it a little bit, depending on where you want it. You might want to go over here. However, I have got another idea to go over there. So I'm going to inline that between my two frames and attach that there. I'll just pop you off my stand just so you can see the finished result. So this was the second option. You will get a blue cupcake case and a pink cupcake case. The ribbon will be included regardless of whether you went for this option or not, and you will have to build these cases yourself. We did cover this on live. However, if you have missed it and you want me to do another little tutorial on these, just please let me know. Your ribbons, there is a tutorial on how I tie my little bows on my TikTok, if you are wondering. Attach these with the glue. The ribbon will be included regardless of what option you chose. I've also added an extra little cake down here. Again, you will get that cake included in your kit. Again, it will be a random colour. I've also added 2 more little mini cakes in this corner. Again, this will also be random, but they will be included. So this is the finished result. I've also just uploaded another video on how to do a little cute cake stand to match, especially if you've got loads of your other bits and pieces. That is on my YouTube, be on the video before this one. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye, everybody.